with the rookie training camp for the Chargers finally coming to a close and having a chance to finally watch these players that the Chargers have drafted, as well as the undrafted free agents, get a chance to practice a bit with the team, with the coaches, and be in uniform, I figure, why not let's go over everything that we've seen so far and kind of how well these guys have done so far since they've been with the team. Now, it's been a couple weeks, a week or two now, since the NFL draft has concluded. These guys have been with the team. Many of them have signed contracts. Some of them have not yet. I believe Zion Johnson, JT Woods, and possibly Isaiah Spiller still need to sign contracts. Now, that's normal. No need to worry. That's normal for the Chargers players, especially the rookies, first rounders, to wait a little bit before they sign a contract. So that's no big worry about that. They're going to sign the contract. They always do. But with what we've seen so far, I figure it's time to kind of go over everything, and that's exactly what we're going to do. So if this is your first time on the channel, my name is John. This is the Sports Advocate. Thank you so much for tuning in. It truly means a lot to me. If you enjoy this content, give me a like or a dislike. Give me some criticism down below. Also, comment who your favorite player is that either you've seen tape of or whatever that the Chargers have drafted out of everyone that we're going to go through. And if you really, really enjoy this content, I have content coming out daily like this. Go ahead and hit subscribe. I really appreciate it. I do NFL, NBA, and NHL talk on a daily basis pretty much. So let's go ahead and get right into this. We're only going to be covering the players that the Chargers actually drafted, because if I went over every single player that would be at camp, we would be here for at least an hour talking about everything. How we're going to do this is I have the draft picks from Zion Johnson in round 1 all the way to Xander Horvath. At the very, very end, we're going to go through every single one of them, what we've seen so far, talk about some of their press conferences and the little videos that we've seen come out at times for this rookie training camp. Now, there's not been a lot. The Chargers released a little 3-minute video, and there's been some other stuff leaking over on Twitter. But we're just going to go over it real quick, and someone's cut down a tree, so hopefully that's not too loud for you guys. Zion Johnson, we're going to start with him. He was a first-round pick. Everyone's very, very excited about him. 17th overall pick. Offensive guard, number 77 for the Chargers. First off, for the press conference that he had, now that he's been with the team, something funny that they went way too in-depth on is he benches barefoot. He had 32 reps at the combine, which was the most by any O-line. For some reason, he brought this up during the press conference, and there was like 5 people that right away just asked like back and forth questions, like boom, boom, boom. I don't know why it was so important. Apparently, Zion Johnson benches barefoot, and he gets more traction or more grip. He feels in his, whatever. I just thought it was funny that was brought up a lot. He was doing drills at right guard. I think a lot of people expected him to go at left guard and go right next to the Rashawn Slater and Corey Linsley. He ends up, so far, he's been at right guard, which kind of leads to the point where I think, where we're going to cover in a little bit, that Matt Filer's still going to jump out to right tackle. Maybe they're trying to fortify that right side and keep that left side covered. He's been doing drills at right guard. He could still play left guard. That's kind of what most people predicted, but it's good to see that he's able to play a little bit of both. They've been working on no huddle. So for this, we're going to be covering each player individually, obviously. But when I'm talking about overall drills like this, so like working on no huddle, Zion Johnson was working on no huddle, so I have it listed up here. Jameer Sawyer was also working on it. I'm not going to list it again down there. So just if the position's the same, they're probably working on the same drills. Just remember that. They've been working on no huddle. There was a couple clips in there, that short 3-minute video on the Chargers where they're just standing there and then a whistle gets blown or the coach says something and they're just run up and they get low and they're standing there and the coach walks up and he's like, hey, spread out a little bit, trying to coach them up so that they can do it fast. We saw a couple clips of that, which is good news. That's something that the team liked to do a lot last year, especially with Justin Herbert late in games. And when they think they have a shot at something, they did it a lot too, even when we weren't in crunch time. Also, a lot of pass protection, hand placement, everything from doing dropbacks and letting the pad go and punching it, to they had medicine balls that they were tossing at each other. This goes again for Zion Johnson and Sawyer. Throwing medicine balls at each other, they have to punch the medicine ball back to him without grabbing it, just pushing it. And they were landing it really good, and it looked like they were throwing around little like like 1 pound weight, so it was clearly more than that, but they were hitting it so fast, it was just coming right back to them. They get a lot of strength on them. They're really focusing on that pass protection, which is good sign, especially when you have someone like Justin Herbert to fortify the offense with some great options here in Zion Johnson. And I just love that they're giving protection to Herbert, something that I really wish they would have done with Rivers a long time ago, but I'm glad that they're doing it now. Staley has brought something to this team that I wish they had for a long time. Also, Zion Johnson, when he locks into that chest plate, which he does pretty much every play, you're not getting off it. And I know this is practice. I know you're going half speed. You're not trying to fight off it, and you're going against other linemen. But he gets into people, and he is just in them. He's like lifting them up. He's firmly in that chest plate. They're not wearing actual full uniform and all that stuff. It's just their jersey. But he has full grip on that jersey, and he's lifting people up. You'd love to see that he's not losing contact on those guys. You know, you always talk about fighting through contact, getting your inside hands on lineman or D-line, both trying to get inside hand, and he's not losing any grip. That's great. Great to see. They also ran some screen plays. I saw there was only like 1 or 2 clips in the 3-minute video. They ran a screen play. Ball gets hiked. They're standing there, and then they kind of rotate out. It looks like Zion Johnson, at least on the screenplay side for rookies that we've seen so far, is probably going to be that lead blocker on that outside. I think when they ran the screenplay, he was over at right guard, I do want to say, which is, yeah, he was over on the right side. Right side, yep, he was right guard, and he looked like he was going to be the lead blocker. Obviously, you don't have Matt Filer or whomever, Trey Pipkins, whomever would be the right tackle, or, yeah. So, but it seemed like he was going to be the lead blocker for the screenplay, at least in what the clips that we did see. Next up, JT Woods, safety, number 22. He did not participate. I'm not exactly sure why, injury, whatever it may be. He did not participate in the 2 days. It was only 2 days of rookie minicamp so far. There's obviously going to be team camp and all that stuff coming up this summer. I hope to see him participate there, but JT Woods did not participate. Next up, Isaiah Spiller, running back, number 28. A lot of people are excited for this man. A lot of information for him. His press conference, it was tough for me to watch. He did stuff that drives me a little bit nuts in his talking. I know I did a lot when I first started YouTube, and I've tried to revert away from it. At times I catch myself doing it, but the amount of times I heard him say filler words, it was hard for me to watch press conference. I had to go back a second time and just put on captions and only read the captions, because I just couldn't. That really has nothing to do. That was just a me thing. He's very excited to catch passes from Herbert. There was a question about that. He seemed excited to, not specifically Herbert, but he seemed excited to be in the pass game. Obviously, he was doing that at Texas A&M, and he seemed ready to do it in the NFL, especially with a great quarterback as Justin Herbert. I'm sure he's ready to get an opportunity to go catch an open space. And in the videos, we saw a couple clips of him doing that same thing, as well as breaking off the press. They had him out at wide receiver, it seemed, at times, and they were pressing him, and he was getting off it, breaking off of it. At times, he was looked like he was getting stuck to it, but he'd still break free every time, and they just run sprints right after they break free. So expect him to be used similar to Austin Eckler in that, in the passing game as well, which is good news. You love to see a diverse, complete back, which is something that he said multiple times. He seems very confident in that press conference. He was talking about he wanted to be complete, he wanted to be well-rounded, he wanted to be able to do everything for the team, power back, elusive back, whatever you want to call it, be able to juke people out and run through people. He seemed very confident in his ability to do multiple things and be a complete back, which is great news. I love some confidence in him. And I just hope that he can bring that confidence on the field and prove why he's so confident and run through those people, or make them lose their cleats because he breaks their ankles, or whatever he could do. I appreciate that he's so confident and ready to go and outgoing. He doesn't have as much personality as some other running backs like Austin Eckler or Joshua Kelly that are on this team. He doesn't have the big smile like Kelly. He doesn't have that entertainment spectrum, that guitar playing in Austin Eckler. He's kind of there, but I mean, that's perfectly fine to just be there and ready to play football and only play football, and it's that simple. And I just hope that he can bring that confidence. Gosh, why are they're running that chainsaw so loud? It sounds like it's outside my window. I hope it's not too loud for you guys. Otherwise, I might have to re-record this. Another thing that they were running, this was early on in the 3-minute video for the Chargers, and I might have pictures popping up of the portions in the video. They're running ball control drills. Some people were a little bit worried about that at Texas A&M, him losing ball. I'm not too worried about it. I think a lot of people before they enter the league have that issue, and it gets resolved once they enter the league. But they're running drills where he's just holding it up high, and he has a stiff arm, and somebody else is just punching down on it and up on it. And obviously, we're only seeing a couple clips here and there, and they're not going to show any fails that do occur. But he was holding that ball very, very tight. And I know it's a drill, and I know you're going super slow, half speed, trying to make sure you get things down. But I do enjoy that the team is immediately targeting that and being like, hey, we have to keep control of this ball. We can't have turnovers. We need to force turnovers. And that's something we'll talk about here in a second. I like that they're already focusing on making sure he has full control of the ball and he's not fumbling it. That's great news. He also doesn't waste any steps. There's a couple footwork drills where he's jumping over pads and all that stuff. We're going to talk about that a little bit in Xander Horvath down here. He doesn't lose any steps. He doesn't waste any steps. It seems like he's instantly up 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, and then over. Instead of a lot of people may go up and chop a bunch and then do it, but he's just boom, 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 like right away. Very smooth, great hips, great footwork. Very, very good news to see in a running back that I feel like has very high expectations, especially for Chargers fans in general. I'm glad that he is bringing the effort right away to this team. Next up, a tough name for me, Otidu Ogbonia. We're going to go with that. D-tackle, he's number 93 for the team. He was looking very good in any clip that I saw in that short little video. He was looking so strong and quick. He played with Joshua Kelly at UCLA. He talked about that in the press conference a little bit. Seemed excited to know somebody on the team and be ready. He talked about how Josh Kelly always has a smile on his face, which he does, and I do appreciate that. I do hope Kelly stays on this team. I don't know if he actually will with the amount of depth that the Chargers now have at running back, but I do hope because he has a great personality, and I think he still has a lot of talent. He's super, super young still at this very moment. But moving on from that, obviously, Otitu has some playing time with Kelly at UCLA. Another thing with UCLA is that he's familiar with LA. He's familiar with the weather. He's not going to get sidetracked with all the hustle and bustle of the big city or the Hollywood aspect, not because he's been in it and he's used to the weather, the really, really hot days, which is great news. Some people come in here and they just can't handle it and they sweat too much or they're puking because they get too hot and all that stuff. It's a good thing that he's already used to it, especially for a big guy such as himself, a D-tackle. Now, he looks super fast off the ball. There was a couple things in cage. I don't know how to explain things to certain people if you haven't participated in it. For D linemen, drills that I had to do all the time that were really annoying. There's this cage over your head that kind of leans forward. The backside's higher than the rest, so you can enter, and then you get in your stance down low. They were doing ball snapping drills, so you got your ball on the stick, and they pull it, and you stay low so you don't hit your head in the thing because it hurts like heck. And you come out and you shoot your hands, and that second the ball that was hiked, he was coming out right away. His hands were up. He was looking incredibly fast. That was a couple times in the video, as well as the two-person block machine. I'm sure we all know what block machines are. You have this big foam pad, and it's on like a pressurized, spring-loaded thing. You punch it, it goes in, and then it comes back out after you're done. Him by himself was on a two-person one, but he was by himself, and he was hitting that thing with so much power. The thing was lifting like this, and then it just slammed back down when he walked away, and just by himself, he was lifting them too. And I know they're not crazy heavy, and I know when you're as big as strong as he is, that's maybe not maybe that's not as impressive as I may think it is. But I just know, I'm not incredibly strong, and I sure as heck shouldn't have been D lineman as I was. But he's doing it at a professional level. He's going to be way, way, way stronger than I am, even now. He's going to be a million times stronger than I am. But it was so easy for him to lift that thing, which was quite impressive to me because I know some of those things can get really, really heavy. But it wasn't a huge, full piece, so maybe not as big one as I was used to using, but it was still very, very impressive to see. Next up, Jameer Sawyer, offensive guard. He wears number 68 for the Chargers. Like I said, him and Zion Johnson worked out at Exos pre-draft in Florida, pre-draft, so they worked together very well. Looked like they were working together a lot in this video. He sounds very, very excited to be on this team. In his press conference, he was so happy, and he was happy to learn everything that Staley and the rest of the coaches had to teach him. He was really excited to learn, to be on this team, to enter the NFL. Oh my gosh, guys, I apologize. I don't cut a bunch of things, so at some point I may start cutting things, but I just like having a full conversation with you guys, so that's why I'll cut that stuff. He seemed very excited and ready to learn on this team, and that's a great thing, especially for someone that I think a lot of people expect to possibly be an instant starter on this team. And again, with instant starter, he was running drills primarily at guard, at the left guard, which is where people thought Zion would be, but he was running at left guard, which makes me further think that Matt Filer will be moved out to right tackle to fill that position, and then you're going to have an incredible line from left to right. We're going to have Rashawn Slater to Jameer Sawyer to, why am I blanking? Corey Linsley, Zion Johnson, and Matt Filer. That's going to be a great line, obviously with Herbert, Eckler, and Xander Horvath or Isaiah Spiller behind him. That's an incredible, incredible line to have there. He seems ready to learn, and he's running at left guard. He worked with Zion at Exos and pre-draft. Most of these things that I would cover with Jameer were covered with Zion, like the drills that they run, no huddle, all that stuff. Not a whole bunch to cover with him, but they were doing some drills where he was just trying to stay low. I didn't see that as too much of an issue for him. I know some people did in his pre-draft stuff that he was getting a little bit too high right away. I think I commented on it in the first video, but they were working on it right away, and he was staying low, and his knees were bent, and he was firm. I'm glad to see. They're just kind of going through the bases, it seems like. That's what he talked about in his press conference, is that Staley's just trying to, like, reteach everything, like Pee-wee football, go through every little thing, how they want it done for the team. I think that's something great to do for an organization for these new guys, to kind of take some pressure off them and just re-go through things, make sure that any rust from the summer or whatever is kind of dusted off, and they're ready to go for the team when the actual camps start, and I think that's a great thing to see. Next up, Jasir Taylor. We're at a point where there's not a whole lot to talk about because either there's no press conference. At this point, there's no more press conferences for any of these guys, or there's just not a whole lot of tape we saw because it was only a 3-minute video. You can't see every single person, undrafted free agent, 2 drafted guys, nonstop. Jasir Taylor, cornerback, 36 was his number. Looks like he's working on hip rotations, on routes, dropping back, rotating this way, and then moving forward. Press man is something I saw a lot. Saw a lot of man coverage in these videos, which is what I think a lot of people expected, especially when you bring in J.C. Jackson. We're all kind of anticipating more man. That's what we're seeing here. He was doing some press man up, and lots of man coverage, like I said. Dean Leonard, cornerback, 33. Again, saw a lot of press man coverage. He was doing some back pedal drops into sprinting forward on routes. Again, they're both cornerbacks. They're running very, very similar drills. Anything that you're seeing for one, the other one's probably doing right after them or right before them, because that's just how it works. They were doing a lot of simple drills. Again, very simple things. Dropping back, dropping back as much as you can, watching pointing. They sprint up, and then your coach points this way, and you sprint this way. Very simple things. Just kind of running through things, the basics of things. One thing I want to say, Dean Leonard, I think he was in the video a little bit more than Jasir Taylor, at least what I saw. There was a point when they were doing routes, and he was doing back pedals into routes to go, tackle somebody. They weren't even throwing a ball, but they were running routes. He seemed really quick off his back foot from back pedal to sprint. I think that's going to bring a lot to him, just from that little couple clips I saw, and obviously some of his college tape that I've seen. He looks incredibly quick, and I think that can lead to a lot of turnovers for this team. Oh, they finally stopped cutting. That's great news. So hopefully that will lead to a lot of turnovers for this team. And lastly, one of my favorite guys that the Chargers did draft is Xander Horvath. I hope I'm saying his name right. Fullback. He wears number 45 Every time I saw him, I was just like, wow, this is a great pick, especially last pick in the draft. He looked incredible. It looks like they're likely going to run him at that fullback position. He was in the 3-point stance every time I saw him, outside of one point when they were running pretty much sprints on press. He was coming out of 3-point stance on routes out of the backfield. He looked really, really good. He was running crisp routes. He's great footwork. I expect him to run fullback with a little bit of halfback, maybe at times when you need a lot more power. His legs look powerful, which you love to see. Like I talked about with the director on Twitter. This was a while back before the draft even occurred. I feel like the fullback role is what the running back power back role used to be. I feel like it's kind of converted over into the fullback. So those positions almost go hand in hand, and I think that he brings that, a power back position at that fullback. I think he brings that a lot, and he can still kind of play that running back role at times if you need him to, coming out of the backfield. That power run, things like that. ISO run, you could even run straight down their throat, draws, anything like that. I feel like a power back position / fullback would work great for him. He also looks extremely fast footwork. He was in the same drill as Spiller was, I talked about earlier, where you're stepping over like this. And it was so quick. His footwork was so quick and precise, and it looked so good. And his juke, he really makes a point to just fake you out. It looks so good. I'm incredibly happy with this pick so far, what I've seen so far. He just looks so big, and he has that speed and ability to fake someone out that you just love to see. He's looked great. And I'd say that's it for one on the cover. Now, obviously, there was undrafted free agents, a lot of them. We're just going to say a lot of them. I think there was like 20, 30 people at this minicamp, maybe even more than that. And there's just not enough time in the video to go over every single one of them. So I went over the people that were drafted, officially drafted. For the Chargers, I figured those are the people that everyone's most interested. Now, there were some people that piqued my interest. 86, I think, was a tight end. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. Is that Stone? I think that might be Stone. 86. I might be wrong. But he looked very good. I saw a couple of routes from him, route trees, and he looked quite good. There's plenty of undrafted free agents that I think have a chance to end up on this roster, the 53-man roster. They look very, very good. But I just wanted to go over the people that were actually drafted because I figure that's the people that everyone cares about most. And with that being said, that's going to be the end of the video here. So for anyone that did watch all the way through and doesn't want to stick through these last couple minutes, I appreciate it a lot. Thank you so much. If you enjoyed this video, give me a like or a dislike. Give me some criticism down below. Comment what your favorite pick is and what you've thought about the things we've seen so far. And if you really enjoy this content, hit subscribe because I have content coming out like this daily. Now, quick thing here for Chargers fans who enjoyed this video and you want future videos, I'm going to have a video coming out soon about kind of second year, third year guys who I think are going to step up here soon, who have an opportunity this year to really, really improve and come out of left field. I'm also going to have a video on like predictions for stats, like how many yards is Justin Herbert going to throw and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to have a video on that, and also probably going to have a video on what I think the Chargers' plans are at offense and defense, scheme-wise, plays to kind of look out for that they might run a little bit more, all that sorts of stuff. There's still plenty of content. That's just what I have planned so far. There's going to be more as once offense or team camps start. There's going to be even more, but that's just what I have planned so far for Chargers content. So if you really enjoy Chargers content, feel free to come check that out. For basketball content, the playoffs are going on right now. I intend to do a video on if super teams are still the option. Is that three guys that really lead your team, like Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving attempt to do in Brooklyn. Is that still the way to win now, or is it a one-man army like Luka? I have a video coming out on that soon. I'm also going to do a kind of in-depth analysis of the last two teams in the finals and what they've done well to get to that point and how other teams could follow it. I'm going to do that for basketball as well as NHL when it comes to that. I'm going to have more videos on the NHL as well as the playoffs kick in. once the Vegas hires a new coach, I'm going to have a video on that and some targets for Vegas Golden Knights in free agency or other things like that. And for the Bulls, I'm going to have a video out soon on the draft prospects, with last night being the lottery draft or lottery pick stuff, getting all organized. I'm going to have a video out soon on the Bulls draft position. There's so much content coming out on my channel that I have planned so far, and plenty more that are going to start popping up here and there. Also, once we hit off season, when it all dies down right before NFL starts, I'm probably going to start a series that's going to be called Why I Like, or something like that, which is just going to be content explaining why I enjoy certain things. Now, I did something similar with why I think the NHL playoffs are the best playoffs in American sports, but I'll do like a video of why I'm a Chargers fan, Bulls fan, Vegas fan, why I think that this player deserves more credit than he gets, or things like that. That I'm going to have a series coming up on that once in a month or so. So look out for that. But that's going to be all. So again, if you like this content, give me a like or a dislike, some criticisms, who your favorite pick was so far of what you've seen. If you really enjoy this content, hit me with a subscribe, because I really do appreciate it a lot. I have content coming out daily, and as I just told you, I have a lot of plans, a lot of really good plans, and I'm hoping to keep improving my videos. So give me more ideas, because I've been using pretty much all the ideas that you've given me so far, not only sitting down, which I hope you guys have enjoyed so far, and my voice is about to just die right now. I don't know why. Also, putting pictures up, I've been doing that. End card, added that. I've improved the thumbnail. I feel like there's lots of things I can still improve on, though. So if you guys have ideas, do that below. But as always, let's end this stuff. So I'm gonna scoot forward real quick so that I can stop the video when I'm done. I hope I taught you something. There's plenty of information that we still all have to learn about these young guys. So I hope that I was able to bring more light to some of these guys you don't know a lot about. I hope I made you smile. I hope I made you laugh. That's something that's really important to me. Affect someone else's day in a truly great way. I want to improve everyone that watches this some way, because there's no reason every single day can't be a good day. Even when bad things happen, we can still improve the rest of our day after it. We can. There's few things in life that can destroy a whole day, just one thing, and we need to try to make every single day as great as it can be, because that's why we're here, and we need to, with what time we have, we need to make our life as great as it can be. And as always, you guys all be safe. But something deep inside won't let